All right. Well, it's good to see you all in live and in person, right? So thank you all for coming today and for this important conversation. Um, we're a little rusty with the logistics of in person, but we'll get there, so bear with us. I'm Raul Alvarez, Executive Director with CAN, the Community Advancement Network, and we're very excited again to have this our fifth Central Texas Regional Summit. It's been a long journey to get here, and we're thankful that we're at a moment with the pandemic where we can do this, and hopeful that these health trends continue for our local community and really the global community, right, as we keep moving in a positive direction. And we do suggest that you mask up. It's stage 3 officially still in terms of the designation from Travis County, even though our numbers are actually stage 2. But at some point, hopefully, we want to see that official stage 2 designation, and we're moving in the right direction. So just we're cognizant of the fact that we're in the midst of a global pandemic. But we must also prepare to do what we can to maintain and grow the quality of life for our increasingly interdependent Central Texas communities. This acknowledgement of our growing regional interdependence is what led CAN to launch the Central Texas Regional Summit back in 2015. And like I said, this is our 5th convening. We are ever so grateful that you've chosen to be a part of this because of the singularly unique point in this time that we find ourselves. There have been new challenges that we've encountered and others that were exposed, right, or even amplified during this time. But while this has been a very trying period, it has also been a period of great innovation and adaptation with moments of both reckoning and epiphany, right, where we actually saw some great ideas and actually made them happen. So the question for us at this time is, how will we reckon with the challenges that persist and also seize on the opportunity that the epiphany or these moments of clarity present to us? Many entities in Central Texas, public and private, government and non-governmental, have out of necessity and responsibility undertaken very intentional efforts to creatively problem solve, efforts that are at the same time inspirational and impactful. Our event today is meant to be a first step toward catalyzing a response in our region that can seize on the great potential that we have in this moment to remove barriers and expand opportunity. We look forward to hearing from, learning from the dedicated, thoughtful, and inspirational leaders that have so graciously agreed to share information with us today that can help us move the needle in the right direction. So that's enough for me. Let's get rolling. I want to introduce CAN Board Chair, Dr. Suchitra Gururaj, to do a proper welcome. I know that this is one of numerous projects that Dr. Gururaj has to shepherd for the Division of Diversity and Community Engagement at UT. Her enthusiasm, insights, and professionalism are a breath of fresh air when having to tackle such difficult and challenging issues. And I'm very grateful for her for agreeing to take on this role with CAN, and for UT for giving her the green light, right, to participate with us. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Gururaj, our CAN Board Chair. And I'm not sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Raul. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you, Pflugerville, for having us here today. We're really excited to be here on one of the 3 days of fall in Central Texas. Thanks for having us. My name is Suchitra Gururaj. I serve as the CAN Board Chair for this year. A really important year for us in developing an agenda for the next few years. I also represent, I am the Assistant Vice President for Community and Economic Engagement at the University of Texas at Austin in the Division of Diversity and Community Engagement. My role at UT is to connect the resources of our university with the communities of Central Texas and beyond. And so my work is all about collaboration, about communication, and that's why we have been partners with CAN for so many years, because CAN, too, is about collaboration and communication and convening. So I'm really proud to be board chair this year and thank this entire staff for all that they do. So please, a hand for the CAN staff. So CAN is a partnership of governmental, nonprofit, private, and faith-based organizations that leverage resources to improve social, health, educational, and economic opportunities in Austin and Travis County. We are a convener, we are a collaborator, we hold our community accountable. On this slide, you will note that the organizations that are part of CAN are wide-ranging in terms of policy focus, size, and resources. However, all CAN partners share the aim of improving community well-being by aligning efforts and leveraging resources. The next slide outlines what drives the work of CAN. First, the desire to create a community where residents can say, we are safe, just, and engaged. Our basic needs are met, we are healthy, we achieve our full potential. CAN realized long ago that we can't make progress in addressing issues in our community without expanding our perspective to the entire region. Thus, CAN is excited to be part of this regional summit that brings together interested stakeholders from a 5-county region. We are so grateful to our CAN partner, the City of Pflugerville, for having us today and really showing us how we can be a regional entity and what we need to look at to create a model to be a true regional entity. The goals for today's summit are, 1, to gain a clearer sense of shared challenges and opportunities regarding today's topic of ensuring an equitable economic recovery. 2, to learn about collaborative efforts that are helping to expand opportunity by addressing needs and eliminating barriers to access. And 3, generating ideas for identifying and replicating what works through regional cooperation. We're going to talk about all of those things today. I know that our CAN Vice Chair for 2021, Tamara Atkinson, who leads Workforce Solutions, is going to have a leadership role in today's summit. But before we get to that, we cannot open an event in Pflugerville without my welcoming our next guest, and the person who's going to welcome us and give us words of wisdom and welcome us to Pflugerville, and that is it's all in the notes. That is our friend and CAN board member and Pflugerville City Council member, Rudy Metayer. I am proud of my 1 degree from UT, but he collected all of the degrees from UT. So he is a Longhorn through and through. I appreciate always that he is an ambassador for UT, that he is a champion for UT, and he is a critic for UT when UT needs that criticism, and I appreciate that. Rudy brings in the same all-in attitude to everything he does for the benefit of the City of Pflugerville, the Community Advancement Network, and our community in the broadest sense. So please join me in welcoming Councilmember Rudy Metayer to share tidings from the city.
All right, that's a lot of pressure about bringing words of wisdom over here. I don't know about all that. And Raul, you're phenomenal in executing, getting people together, and organizing. We had this conversation, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years ago, something like that, about actually holding an event, holding one of our CAN events here in Pflugerville. Just given the simple fact that, from what we've seen, you see the regionality in all aspects in what we do, in what CAN aspires to do, and you see the trend in all of Central Texas about the necessity that we work together. I'll be frank. I wish the mayor was here as well to send his regards, because the mayor would be able to tell you about how he was born in this town when there was, 372 people? 272, excuse me. 272 people here in Pflugerville, Texas. Yeah, yeah, 2 or 3, 1 of the 2 with that. And what I laugh about when he tells that story is that he personifies the growth and the change that's happened here, not just here in Pflugerville, but in all Central Texas. Right now, we're around 80,000 people here in Pflugerville, just Pflugerville proper, plus our ETJ, probably another 25 or 30. So about 110, 120,000 people out here. And for us, we still feel like we're a small town in a lot of different ways as compared to our suburb down south. But at the same time, we realize all too well the need and the integration in how we work and how we operate together. I'm the perfect example of this. My law firm's office, Graves Doherty, is at 4th and Congress. I live up here. My wife's family goes back 100 years in Bastrop. I mean, we're all over the area and all over the region because we need to understand and always appreciate that when we have these conversations and we talk about our citizens and our values and our ethics that go with it, they're all intermixed. None of our citizens just work and live in one specific area. We all go around different lines. And if anything, as this pandemic has shown, is the need to make sure that we work on one page and one value and one system of getting things done. Yeah, I've got to give a lot of credit to CAN because CAN very early on, before the murder of George Floyd, a lot of the things that happened over here that brought about true asking for systemic change in this country, the need to look at equity and diversity through a different lens. How do we operate about those things? How do we make those things proud? Here in Pflugerville, we're literally the most diverse city in Central Texas. We now, after this election, now have a majority minority city council. And when you think about where it came from, an old white German town, and over 20 years turned into the most diverse city in Central Texas, a lot of the issues that we always attribute when diversity and inclusion comes into place right here, a lot of infighting, a lot of things, that didn't happen here in Pflugerville. We used it as a tool and embraced it in our values and what we do. When you talk to our citizens over and over again, out of the top 3 goals and issues that they talk about, what they importance to them, equity and diversity are always up in those surveys. You have an economic development model that tries to personify to make sure hub businesses and a variety of different businesses are at the forefront regarding these issues. You see what we do when we were the first ones, one of the few in the state, the first one in Central Texas, when we made it our equity council. These aren't things that we should just talk about. These are things that we should embrace. And as your CAN chair said to me, yes, all my degrees and all my debt come from the University of Texas. And I would be remiss not to say that I didn't get those values, those viewpoints personified even further being on the campus at UT in different ways. From being raised by Mama Kay and some other people in the diversity and inclusion office and working from there. From hateful actions over at the exit of the MLK statue or flyers saying, don't date black men, they'll give you AIDS on campus. Those things helped shape my world viewpoint and ideas, and the need that the importance that people of all different viewpoints and concerns need to talk more, need to be around people they're not usually around, need to be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where things happen. The reason why you look at workforce development and why, you know how I feel about you, Tamara, kick butt and taking names over here, is that there are things that all people want. People want to have a good life. They want to have a good job. They want to be able to take care of their families. Those are things that we all can agree on, and all things that we can work on, and things that we can champion and work together on those things. And on issues where we do disagree, we don't have to be disagreeable while doing so. Make no mistake, I'm a lawyer, so I will always voraciously advocate for my client or viewpoints of the same client. But it doesn't mean I have to be a jerk about it. It doesn't mean I have to be rude about it or condescending in what we do. And those things are what CAN personifies and what CAN has shown. And to do so during a pandemic, to do so time and time again, holding people together and bringing people's values to that, it just speaks about how awesome this organization is. And honestly, the need to bring more people into it. You know, one of the things that we often talk about when we're talking about looking at doing a post-mortem, and I try to remind people, I'm glad Raul brought it up, we're still in the middle of a pandemic. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. We're still in the middle of a pandemic. Please remember that. When people are talking about issues or concerns about being brought up, one of the things is that, and I think Sherry just brought it up, which is great, is that we have to fundamentally change how we do business. We have to fundamentally think and change how we look at our region and our viewpoints and ideas. Because it is all integrated. There is no separate measures in what we do. We should be able to champion one another in all different aspects and how we go about them. What's doing great for Taylor helps go ahead and helps out in Bastrop. What happens in Burnett County should go ahead and embrace what's happening in Austin. It's all collective together and all embraces and collaborative together in what we do. So I am very proud to see and for you guys to hear more about what we're doing here in Pflugerville. Our staff, fellow council members, the citizens in general. It's been pretty awe-inspiring to see about that. And honestly, we still got a way to go when we look at 973 and some other things that are going with our growth patterns with that. I mean, significant growth from there. But I'm also excited to see about how, in ways possible, we all can better partner together and work on issues and concerns in collaboration, on issues and values that we share as a region together. Because the only way we're going to make sure that everyone is part of this growth and development, everyone has an opportunity for success, everyone feels welcome in our communities, is if we're united in doing so. Otherwise, what are we doing? Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you very much.